drive down there on the 12th, and it's already closed. I'm like, what the? I was just like,
It's hard to know.
yeah. Like, why bother to send notice if you're just gonna like not even do it?
It was kind of funny.
One night stands,
That was a little ironic.
Yeah.
they're tiring.
Oh, you're
So it's kind of a drizzly 3 weeks. That's okay. That actually added to the
Isn't that the nature of where you were at?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
No, I didn't try the haggis,
That's right. We're already there. It's probably a smart move.
nor did I try the bloodwurst.
Believe it or
know
not,
about
my
the
parents were there
One Direction.
a couple years ago.
They have a, the one, he passed
That
away.
whole-
Remember one of their singers?
I doubt they were. They did a bill of European trip, and they included Germany. It was for
I don't know the name.
the Passion
Young
Play
30
that
something.
they do that
Yeah.
every 10 years.
I didn't really read, I just saw the headlines.
They were actually supposed to go in
Yeah.
2020 because it's on every even decade. But it got canceled, obviously, at that time. So it got moved 2 years later. So they went back in 2022.
That's not a typical development.
They saw the old course.
Seniority, so.
So did I.
Did ya?
Couldn't play it.
Yeah.
10-year waiting list. And you gotta
Unless
have
you
your own
have,
caddy.
unless you have a random membership in some golf course in New South Wales, Australia, or something like that.
They didn't tell me that. They said you gotta have your own caddy.
Don't from
You have to have a particular handicap, and you gotta get on a waiting list.
Are we ready? All right. All right, we'd like to welcome everybody out to the Harriman City Planning Commission for Wednesday, October 16th. Appreciate everybody being here. We'll begin with a Pledge of Allegiance led by our own Lauren.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We do have a full quorum today, and just want to ask if there's any conflicts of interest with any of the items tonight. Seeing none, we'll move on to item 3.4, which is an approval of the minutes for our September 4th Planning Commission meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for September 4th.
Motion by Heather,
Second.
second by Forrest. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, move on to item 4.1, which is review and consideration of a waiver of strict compliance. And our own Sheldon will do this. This is for the Discount Tire Store.
Okay, so the applicants could be joining us online.
Online,
And I
okay.
sent him the wrong link, so hopefully, I just emailed him the correct link, so hopefully he gets on.
Hopefully he gets on by the time we get there. All right, so he's not going to see your wonderful presentation then?
Maybe not.
Well, okay, go ahead.
As you mentioned, this is a request for a waiver of strict compliance for the Discount Tire Store. It's located here off of Main Street and Harriman Boulevard. So it's right off 126. It's directly west of the Zions Bank site. It's a 1 acre pad, zone C2. The applicant is requesting a waiver of strict compliance to remove the foundation landscaping for the Discount Tire Store. Per ordinance, they are required to landscape 50% of the front of the building, provide 50% foundation landscaping in front of the building that's adjacent to a public right-of-way. Just a little background here. So what they're proposing is they did increase the overall landscaping to accommodate for that request. As mentioned, they're only required 50% landscaping for the site. They're providing about 22%. And they've added some additional landscaping to the front to accommodate removing that landscaping from the foundation. Here's kind of just a street street view. So the site itself actually sits about 5 feet below street level, just so something to take in consideration as well. Again, if we look at the zoning standards, waivers for compliance, and et cetera. Based on their request, staff has looked at the elevation and the building site and has determined, the front areas here in front of the bay doors would not accommodate foundation landscaping. However, we did identify 2 areas where potentially we could place some foundation landscaping. It would be on the left and right side of the buildings by the main entrance, and there's a man door on the west side as well, on the east side, sorry. And again, here, staff would recommend that they do add some landscaping here on the east side of the building, just to help soften that frontage of the building as well. Here, they're just providing just sod there in that area. Again, this is just the front elevation to get you a general idea. So what staff is recommending is just placing some foundation landscaping there, either through foundation beds or through some irrigated planter pots, if that, that works better for the site. Again, accommodating just these two spaces here, they could provide about 29 linear feet. It's about 25% of that requirement. With that all being said, we do recommend approval with the following conditions. One, they add those additional foundation landscaping areas in front of the building and provide some additional plant varieties there on that east island there on the east side of the site. And if you have any questions for me, I'd be happy to answer them.
Did I see the requirement's 15% and they're providing 23? Am I getting those percentages right? Something to that effect?
I'm sorry?
The requirement for planting was 15% for the lot, and they're providing 23%.
22%.
22%, okay. All right, so
And that's,
7%.
that is a combination of some of the requirements we have for buffers and et cetera.
Yeah.
So that does increase the overall landscape.
Yeah, so overall, they're providing quite a bit more.
Yeah.
Other than this one location, yeah.
I
sorry,
do have
go
a
ahead.
question. So on the, if you can go back to the site plan. So these are drive-through, obviously. Are they drive-through or are they just drive-in?
No, these are just drive-in bays. There's no,
Okay,
they're
so
not drive-through.
there's nothing stopping them from adding landscaping on the sides and the rear of the building,
There is not. It's just not a requirement per code
right?
that they do foundation landscaping. I'm not sure how beneficial that'd be on the east or, well, on the west or the north side of the site, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
Okay.
all right. Any other questions for Sheldon? Were we able to get, is it Todd online for us?
so did Todd get on?
Yeah,
All right.
I believe I'm here.
Great, we can hear you, Todd. Thank you. Appreciate you being here. Hopefully you were able to hear the presentation. Is there any other additional information you'd like to share with the Planning Commission tonight?
Well, no, Sheldon, I appreciate the extra link there. We don't have any issues with the staff report. I mean, ideally, in the recommendations for the approval, ideally, we wouldn't want to put landscaping right up against our show front windows, just because they're windows. And we have provided, as staff mentioned, we have provided quite a bit of extensive landscaping, sort of that compensate for the fact that, obviously we can't put a lot of landscaping between the building foundation and the road. Nevertheless, I'll leave it up to the commission to determine what they want to do. We would be agreeable in either condition. I guess we would prefer to beef up the landscaping on the other areas as staff has recommended, and not do the landscaping in front of the showroom windows. The other end of the building to the right side, as we're viewing, we could put some landscaping in there. That is kind of an area we use for receiving of new tires. So it's not ideal for us, but we could accommodate that as well. So I appreciate everybody's consideration in this matter, and I'm available for any questions.
Okay. Any questions for Todd from the group? All right, Todd, we appreciate you being online and providing that insight. We'll go ahead and have a discussion here on this item now at this time, and excuse you from to turn off the mic for that one. So, all right, any discussion? Any thoughts? Maybe we could go to the three, advance the slides, if you could help us out and get to the recommendations. So I guess part of the discussion then, staff would like to see item number 2. The applicant would like that not to be a part of it. Any thoughts that way? If we eliminated item 2, any concerns or thoughts, or we want to keep it?
I like staff's proposal. I think it softens the approach of the building. I'm good with how
I'm
staff
seeing
does
a
it.
shaking of head. Okay. Any other thoughts on any other item?
I'm ready to make a motion.
All right.
I move to approve item 4.1 with staff's 3 required conditions.
All right, we have a motion by Adam,
I'll second.
a second by Heather. We'll do a roll call vote. We'll start with Forrest.
Yes.
Adam?
Yes.
Heather?
Yes.
Preston?
Yes.
Daryl?
Yes.
And Andrea.
Yes.
All right, that motion passes with staff's recommendations. All right, we'll move on to item 4.2, a review and consider a final architecture and landscape plans for buildings 5 and 6. Clint at Mountain View Plaza. Go ahead.
Okay, hopefully we're all familiar with Mountain View Plaza, where it's at. Currently, buildings 1, 2, 3, and 4 are under construction or are nearing the end of construction on buildings 1 and 2 anyways. If you haven't been over there, you should go take a look there. It's nice to see the plan come to fruition. So what we're looking at tonight are buildings 5 and 6. We just got some plans in for building 7, so we'll probably be looking at that within the next month and a half or so. Typical of the other building sites, the amenities are very similar. So we have one plaza in between buildings 5 and 6, sidewalk connections, 18% landscaping overall on the entire site has been included as well. There are 2 drive-throughs on these buildings. As you can see on the site plan here, the configuration of those drive-throughs is interesting, and hopefully that will work out for those tenants. Elevations are very similar. In the MDA, it talks about how each of these buildings will be different, but essentially kind of be a sibling to one another. Same materials, a little different design throughout the project. They're each about 4,500 square feet, 23 feet tall, and again, very similar materials that we've seen on the other buildings so far. In terms of compliance with the MDA, there are some provisions that we would like to see in place, specifically with the plaza between buildings 5 and 6. And these are the same kinds of recommendations that we've made on the plazas between buildings 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. But just seasonal potted plants, movable tables and chairs, overhead lights, shade umbrellas, accesses into the plaza. So on some of the plans, it's showing door entrances into the plaza from buildings 5 and 6. Now on some of the plans, it's not. Staff's recommendations is that there be entrances into that plaza from each of those buildings, from the east side of building 5 and the west side of building 6. And then the paving obviously will match what's already existing. In terms of landscape compliance, they've done a good job here. There are a couple of provisions just in the parking area. One is the parking island out in front of building 5 and 6 is shown as being paved. We recommend that have a tree and 2 shrubs to comply with ordinance. And then in the ordinance, wherever you have more than 10 parking stalls in a row, you're required to break that up. So in front of building 7, there is, I think there's 14 stalls there. So we would just recommend putting a landscape island there with 1 tree and 2 shrubs. Again, in terms of building compliance with the MDA and other buildings, very similar to what we've seen. There is a bike rack that would need to be located on site. And this is the list of recommendations or conditions. A lot of these have already been provided. I can probably say that 1, 2, 3 have been included. And the rest are they're very minor changes, just things we need to see in terms of this site overall. And a lot of these are carryover from other sites, so just to make sure that we're consistent throughout the project. I talked a lot. If there's any questions, I'll answer whatever I can. And the applicant is also here if you want to talk to him.
Any questions for Clint?
So for your recommendation for buildings 5 and 6, to have doors to the plaza, would the landscaping plan need to be changed to allow that?
On the one side, for building 5, there would need to be a sidewalk access coming to that east side of the building. But for building 6, it shows that that plaza is already all the way up against the building.
Okay.
I think that's better spelled out in the actual, I tried to kind of dumb down the recommendations as it got onto the slide. Still a lot of words.
Anything else? All right, thank you. We'll let Aaron, you want to come forward and provide any additional information and maybe give us a quick update on how 1 through 4 is going too, as well.
Well, it's good to be here, back with you, back with the Planning Commission. Leasing progress is going well. We're about 50% leased out of our buildings that are currently available. Buildings 1 through 6, 50% leased. Even these 2 new buildings, we're getting some great momentum. We've had a great partnership with the staff also in making recommendations of organizations that have reached out to them, that have reached out to us. So it's been a great partnership that way. From a overall project perspective, we're making really good time. We feel very happy about where we're at from a construction perspective. If you haven't been out to the buildings, as Clint mentioned, would love for you to come out, take a look at it, walk the property. We're really proud of the look and feel and the professionalism and also the general, sense of a higher end commercial retail environment that we're creating, and it's coming to fruition. We're very happy about it. I have no additional real comments for these particular recommendations. We support the staff recommendations, have no challenge to them. We're ready to move forward.
Great. No, we appreciate that as well. Any questions?
Could you go back to the maps? Yeah, right there. Is there, I understand the necessity for garbage disposal facility area. Is there a reason why it's located where it is, right next to the plaza, essentially?
Trying to think of where is it on the map?
Right there.
Right in that area, right between the,
Basically, I just see a nice little breeze blowing through the plaza that would definitely hamper the enjoyment of the area. That's my concern.
Well, we originally had it there where you can see there to the north of Building 7, but because of the drive-through complexity, you'll see on the next slide, if you could go back to that slide, that we actually went with 3 lanes instead of 2, because we have a soft drink company that's coming, and we're just nervous about the backup traffic that's going to be inside the parking area. So it moved our original recommended location to that location. I'm happy to sit down with our team and see if there's a better place, but we're really struggling. The other place we could put it is in that parking island there, directly to the south of the buildings, but that's kind of an ugly location as well. So we just thought it's the best possible location we could find on the property, and we're not super happy about it either, but we wanted convenience and access for the restaurant-based providers and also deal with the parking challenges that we have with the drive-through in that location.
and no issues with garbage pickup at that location?
No, it'll be super easy.
Okay. I guess you got to drive through there.
Yeah. I mean, the plaza area for those 2 buildings is not going to be as utilized as the other plaza areas that we have, because our 2 restaurant locations are actually are the drive-through locations. The rest are retail. That's what we're seeing right now from a tenant interest perspective. Now, that could change. Obviously, tenants change. But we anticipate most of our tenant stay time is going to be in the main plaza area there with the entertainment section and things like that will draw people to that location.
Just by way of information, on this plan here, on the landscape plan, on the north side of that plaza, they are providing a raised planter.
Yeah.
Which
What it
might
looks
help
like.
It'll help a
block
barrier.
that a little bit.
Provide a barrier.
A tree in that.
This
looks
is
like-
something that we talked about when the MDA was first kind of brought to us, and it is a difficult, it's
Placement.
tough to move those in another place it would work, so.
Yeah.
When we bring Building 7 to you guys, we can also have that conversation as well. And, we're not thrilled with it either, to be just super transparent.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts or questions from the commission for me?
Good question. All right. Thank you.
You bet.
Did you have one? Nope.
Okay, thanks, Aaron.
Any discussion? Any concern? Let's go ahead and go back to the slide if we could with the staff's recommendations. Make sure we're all good with those as well. Sounds like the applicant's okay with these also, so.
I'll go ahead and make a motion to
Okay.
approve item 4.2 with the 12 conditions that staff has provided.
We have a motion by Adam.
Second.
And second by Preston. We'll do a roll call vote as well. Preston?
Yes.
Daryl?
Yes.
Andrea?
Yes.
Heather?
Yes.
Adam?
Yes.
Forrest?
Yes.
All right, that motion Passes. Thank you. We appreciate you being here. Yeah, thank you for all your efforts. All right, any comments from commission members tonight? Discussion items? Okay. By way of announcement, next future meetings will be next week, October 23rd, will be city council. October 30th likely will be canceled. There'll be a formal notice probably headed out on that one as well. And then next planning commission will be 3 weeks from today on November 6th. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Motion by Adam.
Second.
Second by Forrest. All in favor? Aye. Thank you. Motion, meeting adjourned.